YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Gonna do another live battle. I'm gonna actually rock Chaos here. I don't think they're very good, but I'm going to use them just because I haven't used them much. And let's find some fun stuff here. Let's think. So the enemy's gonna have Fate of Buna, which is horridly effective, and then also Spirit Leech. So should probably choose wisely. Lore of Death is definitely gonna be probably the most useful one. It's going to also give me Fate of Buna and Life Leech, which is kind of boring, but let's see. This Chaos Sorcerer also has Death. So if we put him in, we could also bring like a melee hero, which charge bonus just self affects all allies in range, so that stand or die could be helpful. Psychology, encourage, expert charge defense. I'm trying to see if this I'd like to bring Kolek Suneater, but something tells me that's not going to work out well for me in the end. And let's think, we're up against Vampies. They're probably just going to bring a whole lot of monster units and stuff like they typically do. Let's see, though. Let's see what we can bring. I have no idea what to bring, and I'm choosing my army way too slow, so I'm going to shut up and just start picking an army. Let's get some good Chaos Warriors here, a couple Forsaken. Let's get some Chaos Marauders. And I don't really have any fast units per se. I can't afford more than one. Crap. Oh well, just grab another troll or something. I gotta fill something in because time's running out. This army blows. But we'll do what we can with it. I can at least counter with Fate of Buna and Life Leech and Spirit Leech, but I don't think this is gonna go. And Cryptors. So this, these vampire rushes are like every battle or every other battle in the quick battle. People are so into the vampire rush, and honestly, I mean, if it was being used by a player who was quite good at it, I think it probably would be fairly challenging to stop. But it's not that spectacular. And I did not mount my wizard, though, so I actually think Von Karstein's going to end up with a pretty handy advantage here. Because my guys are not mounted, and I did kind of a weird thing to bring, you know, I could have just brought the wizard with the Lore of Death or whatever, and it would have been a lot safer, but I wanted to bring something fun, so I brought Sigvald the Magnificent, just because I can. Sometimes you'll notice that I'm not, I mean, I want to play well, but I'm not like a have to win kind of character when it comes to picking my armies and stuff like that. I'm okay with trying the road less traveled just for the experience of, even if it leads to a defeat. And this load in is taking a long time, so hopefully this game's not laggy, because it's taking 60 or 70 seconds for this guy to load in. There we go. Looks like we're in. That's the world of high-speed internet when you get impatient over 1 minute. I'm going to actually roll my Marauders on the flanks. And I've got Chaos Warriors in the center. These are going to be much sturdier infantry. I want Sigvald right in the middle of this. And let's put the Forsaken on the flanks of this main line. Put a couple of the Chaos Marauders out there. I've got a couple of armored trolls. Let's maybe keep all the trolls in as a reserve unit, I guess. And I've got my Death Sorcerer here. There, kind of got a line of trolls to support. I'm going to back the camera up just a little bit so I can see better. So, Chaos versus Vampires, you know this is going to be an all-rush story here. Let's go see what we're up against. Typical Cryptor spam with Zombie leading. Von Karstein, Zombie Dragon, Fell Bats. Oh, what the heck? 3 Vampires? So this guy's obviously planning on spamming Life Leech to no end. What I'm going to do is actually engage the main line with... Okay, I got to get Spirit Leech ready already for Von Karstein, because he's trying to use it on Sigvald.
mortals!
Did he use it on Sigvald? He has not. So I'm gonna try and start crashing this zombie party. And let's move up this line here and push up this line as well. My chaos. What? He didn't use life leech, and I got one off for free. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Got my supporting lines come. I'm gonna just basically come in and try and surround him. I'm completely unconcerned about the bats at this point. Let's get all my guys engaged in combat, and then we'll use the abilities of Sigvald, who I think finally did get Spirit Leeched. I'm gonna swing some of these units around. Let's get back to my Chaos Sorcerer, Life Leech, or Spirit Leech von Karstein again. And where's Sigvald? Let's make sure we get his ability off here to buff our infantry. This is just a giant blob fight, which honestly is pretty typical in this type of scenario. I don't actually think the vampires are going to fare terribly well here. Von Karstein's right in the middle of this fight. I'm going to Spirit Leech him again. So the vampires are now completely surrounded. That should start to drop their leadership, and I honestly don't see this going particularly well for the vampires. I am going to lose Sigvald, but my Chaos Warriors should be fairly sturdy. Von Karstein's about to kick the bucket, which means that you're going to see an absolute chain rout amongst the vampires almost certainly. Yeah, he's not dead, but he is now. I don't know where all the vampires went. I guess they just blobbed into the fight somewhere. Yeah, there's one of them. So yeah, Von Karstein's down, and you should see a general crumbling of vampire units here, unless mine have routed first. I don't see any wavering amongst my men.
Chaos is magic.
Let's bring this guy up here, increase the power reserves. Let's pull that up, and let's see if we can get any more helpful spells. We are definitely seeing the vampires crumble at this point. He's brought his vampire units over to charge into my Chaos Sorcerer here. But I mean, as soon as I wrap up all this vampire infantry, including Crypt Horrors, we should be in good shape, though my Sorcerer is getting absolutely roughed up right now by these vampire. I'm going to go ahead and Spirit Leech one of them with what little magic power I have left. And let's just see if my Chaos Warriors can tank this out at this point. I think we can. The vampire units are definitely starting to crumble, though it's actually starting to say that I am losing in the balance bar. Yeah, my guys all just started wavering and routing because of the death of that sorcerer. That's kind of frustrating. Because just in terms of numbers, the only thing holding the vampire army together at this point is a couple of Crypt Horrors and some vampire hero units. Game is locked up at the moment. I don't know if one of us is going to lose connection. I mean, if my guys wouldn't rout, I honestly think they easily have this battle in place, but they very well might rout because of the lack of hero support. Okay, so apparently that guy got dropped, but it still gave me a defeat. So he drops the game, or not like on purpose. He got dropped from the game, and it dishes me the defeat, I guess, just because of the balance bar, maybe. But even in terms of numbers, I was in better shape there. He lost more men than I did by quite a lot, so I don't really think that was a valiant defeat, but whatever. We'll call it what it is. All he had left was 2 very badly beaten Crypt Horrors and 3 fairly healthy ones, and 3 vampire heroes. Yes, a lot of my men had routed, but unless the rest chain routed, which they might have chain routed, I'm pretty sure that we'd be in okay shape. I was able to use my Chaos Sorcerer to successfully kill Von Karstein. Sigvald accomplished very, very little there, which is fine. I mean, we all knew he was going to get his face Spirit Leeched right off his pretty little face. Spirit Leeched. Anyway, interesting battle. Hope y'all enjoyed that one. Probably not a whole lot to see if we go a bit. I mean, let's go replay it just so you can see some of the Chaos units up close. It was a fairly quick battle, like all battles in Total War Warhammer, being relatively quick. My infantry there was just definitely superior quality to his, because all he had was zombies. Really, he just brought a very gimmicky army here with lots of monsters, and then the hero support. And I'm assuming that this hero support partly could be because I'm assuming you get like an encourage aura about your leaders, which is probably part of the reason why you saw, like, when my second guy died, there was a lot bigger chain route than had originally been done. So yeah, here, just using these guys to start the engagement because I want them to tank some of the damage of the charge from all these Cryptors. I was trying to get my opponent to basically just blob up in the center, and he did. He came right into it. I can tell by his army here that the strategy is definitely taking a secondary place to cheese because of the von Karstein, all the vampires with Spirit Leech and all the other stuff, and then the Cryptors. This is definitely what most of us would call a cheese army, but cheese is pretty popular these days. Where's old Sigvald, the Magnificent? Is that him? Yeah, there he is. He's getting run over by some little vampirus. Look at the vampirus running around here just swatting Chaos Warriors. There's Sigvald coming in here fighting some of these heroes. I think he looks a lot prettier than he performs. Look at von Karstein coming down in here too. Where the heck is Sigvald? This guy's getting knocked around like a piece of trash. What a loser. I don't know what he's magnificent at other than wearing magnificently brilliant clothes or something, because he's getting his trash kicked. But I mean, you can see the vampire player here again just blobs right in, but gets completely surrounded. And you're seeing units crumble, zombies just right there. But because it's a little harder to crumble a Cryptor, that's why his army lasted long enough. I mean, you can see his guys are completely, totally surrounded. I've got my armored Chaos Trolls in there too. Just Marauders over here. They're not going to be very good. But then my heavier armored Chaos Infantry is here as well. Probably wouldn't have hurt to bring a couple of Chaos with Halberds and maybe just save some money on Sigvald, since he was Sigvald the Craptacular. And a couple of Halberd units would have helped dish a lot more damage to the Cryptors, I think. Just give them better general holding power. Again, you can see my Chaos Warriors very, very tanky infantry. And the only reason that some of them started to die was just from a rout, because, I mean, the vampires got very, very few kills on me. Very few kills. And this unit should have been run into battle already. There I go. But yeah, I mean, this flank was completely wrapped up. These guys are crumbling, or they were crumbling. They're also trying to regenerate all at the same time. I honestly, like I said, it's possible I would have turned around and won this if my guys would have stabilized a little bit there at the end. The power bar was definitely not my favorite. If it dropped a little bit more, definitely would have been the end of my attempt, because the army losses thing would have played in. But yeah, I mean, this is unfortunate. This is kind of the state of modern cheese. But I mean, that's what you get when you play online battles. Some people just like to keep it simple. But I mean, there are definitely some balancing issues that make these types of armies, like this vampire army you see here, a popular pick, because it's an easy way to come in and beat up on people who aren't very familiar with the game. Like I said there, it's calling that one a defeat. I do not feel like that was a defeat at all. The vampires deployed 553 and lost 445 of those. Definitely feel like that was, if anything, a victory for me. He only killed 173 of my men, had 711 remaining, but that's what happens when you snipe out the leaders. Definitely a popular tactic on Total War Warhammer. I do appreciate the game from my opponent. When I say the stuff about cheese and stuff like that, I'm not asking you all to make fun of him or give him a hard time. He bought this game. He can play this game the way he wants. And again, this is the kind of thing that you just have to accept when you go into online play. And if you don't like it, then you stick to single player. But I like to sit here and talk about this stuff just because it's fun. And I have fun with it. And obviously, I'm not like salty or something about losing to anybody on here. Now, you watch me play Halo, I might get a little more salty. But in any case, what does Chaos have to offer? Who are they? I think in the campaign, Chaos would be very interesting, because more of these units would probably be able to come into play. In multiplayer, some of these units just cost too much. The whole dang Chaos army, again, very, very sturdy infantry here. 100 armor. That is very good. Very sturdy units. Forsaken, lots of attack on these guys. Very good damage dealers. Chaos Marauders even pretty decent for their price. They're not great, but I mean, for 400, they're not bad. They get a little bit of work done. Their cavalry's way overpriced. Chaos Knights just don't deal the damage that you need from them at this price. Marauder Horsemen, too expensive for what you get out of them too, so not very impressive. Chaos Warhounds with poison. Now, this actually probably could be somewhat useful, because you get poison attacks, and that's one of the reasons why people like to spam Crypt Horrors, is their poison attacks will draw down the effectiveness of your troops. You could pretty easily turn that around with the poison attack from a couple of these Chaos Warhounds with poison. Just turn them around from behind the enemy army and bring them in. Definitely could have done some damage. Hell Cannons are overpriced for what you get out of these things too. Don't recommend them. They do a ton of damage when they hit. They just rarely ever hit. In terms of infantry, Chaos Warriors with Halberds definitely do a lot of armor-piercing damage. Nice unit for anti-large, but very expensive. Same thing with Chaos Warriors with great weapons. They're going to do a lot of armor-piercing damage versus anything that's well-armored, but very expensive, and they're going to sacrifice melee defense to get those great weapons. Chosen with Halberds, again, very good against large foes, very expensive. So you see the recurring theme here, very expensive. You get a nice, fun choice of lords amongst the chaos, though. But you'll notice, like there, I didn't bring Kolek Suneater. Why? Because he's just going to get absolutely freaking chewed up by Spirit Leech from 4 different units on the vampire side. So it would not have been hard. Same thing with Archaon the Everchosen. Why would I bring him when he doesn't have Spirit Leech or Fate of Buna? And that's the unfortunate nature right now of of Total War Warhammer. Now, some of this stuff is useful, it really is, but the fact is that when your general is going to be easily sniped by a spell that has way too short of a cooldown time and does way too much damage, it takes a lot of the strategy out of it. And that's pretty much what you're going to see here, is whoever can snipe the general first and get a slightly better engagement will win. Not every time that your general dies will you lose, but I would say that you're more than likely going to lose if your general gets sniped. So just the nature of online play in Total War Warhammer right now. Fortunately, you don't have to deal with that in campaign. Hope you all enjoyed this video. HeirofCarthage signing out for now, and I will be back with more soon.